So I fall in the washing machine at 5 years old. I break everything from my waist down. So I had to learn how to
Oh
walk from 5
yeah,
to
I
7.
remember that.
Soon as I learned how to walk, I put my eye out playing with a homemade slingshot. So from 8 to 12, nigga, I had 9 eye surgeries. So I had from 8 to 12, I had 9 eye surgery before I had my eye removed. So the whole 6th grade year, I just had a patch on my eye. So I really didn't get my eye to 7th grade. So nigga, I got an insecurity. So 7th grade, I ain't no bad kid. I just got my new eye. I finally get to be a kid. Nigga,
Dang.
8th grade, I catch a murder case. So
Yeah.
these niggas want you to think I'm a street kid. And nigga, I've been in the hospital. I just got my new eye. I don't know nothing about the streets. Nigga, I've been watching television. I'm a wannabe. Trying to be. But I'm a kid, nigga.
Yeah.
So these niggas don't put the street codes on me as a baby. That's why I want to shame these niggas, homie. So at 14, nigga, I'm catching a murder case, nigga. All I know is to be honest, my nigga. I don't know the lie. I wasn't raised like y'all. Who did this, mama? This what we did. Nigga, I wasn't raised to go against the police. We used to run and hug the police, nigga, during there. I wasn't raised with criminal values and morals, my nigga. I learned that from as I got older listening to music. But I wasn't taught it. So I can't stand on it. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's not the foundation of who I am and how I was raised. How you was raised and where you was raised is your foundation. You just add to it as you build the structure throughout life. But nigga, my foundation was built good and sturdy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I went back to my foundation because I didn't know what I was doing in the streets, nigga. I went back to my foundation. Praying, God, yeah. So I grew up in a boys' home, nigga, really studying the culture from the outside. While y'all was on the inside listening and dancing, I was on the outside seeing it how nigga, throughout the years, we all transform and shape to the culture. We wouldn't have never knew nothing about Moet Chandon and Master P would have never told us.
Yeah,
We would have
that's
never knew nothing
true.
about Versace, Giovanni Versace. Pac wouldn't have been rapping about it in the Dobb hats. Nigga, we wouldn't know about threesomes if these niggas didn't put it in a song. We wouldn't know about Percocets. We wouldn't know about nothing if these niggas didn't speak it through a microphone to us. We see it in our daily lives, but we can't highlight it because we're in survival mode. We're in pain. We're in struggle. But when we're having fun and entertaining ourselves, the music helps us highlight all the negative attributes of our culture to grab a hold to.
And this is where I differ from everybody else. Like, I was never, even though, they used to play certain music and stuff, I didn't grow up in the suburbs. We grew up in some very, very rough areas and we moved around a lot. Moms did the best that she could, you know what I'm saying? And, thank God a few years later, me and Pops end up, squashing beef and had a nice little sit down and now we have a better relationship. But early on, fam, it was not easy. You know what I mean? Everywhere that you turn, you got drugs, you got alcohol, you got, I'm just gonna say, people out there selling it. You got gangs, you got, man, I think I done got jumped what 2, 3 times in my doggone life by people that live right around the corner from us. It was tough, bro. It was no freaking joke. Friends that lost their lives from guns, getting locked up more than once, and the music don't make it any better. But I was never honestly a huge fan of like certain movies, like The Boys in the Hood and stuff. I've never been a fan of those movies. I could never gravitate to, Boys in the Hood, Menace to Society. That stuff used to always turn my freaking stomach, man. I was just never a fan of it. Even though I had family members that watched it, that loved that doggone movie, friends, even on YouTube and Facebook now, having these comments. You've never seen? No, I've never sat there and watched those movies. Anytime the movies come on, I get out. I'm just not interested, man. Anytime those certain songs and stuff come on, I'm just not interested. I always gravitated more towards people like Wale. We actually grew up on listening to a lot of R&B. My mom and my dad, I think that I was probably conceived off of freaking R&B because I love R&B. People actually either rapping or singing about love, about being happy. that all of that other stuff, that rah-rah, I never been into it. Now, again, growing up in that type of environment, you have to become something in order to make sure that, you protect yourself or you protect the people that are around you. So, I had to become, a different, I had to become a different character almost. Because deep down, I was still this big, playful kid that still loves to laugh, joke, and play around and things like that. But yeah, man, I just never gravitated towards, the stuff that he's talking about now.
The music highlights it for us. The white boy don't. And they saying, well, it's the music labels that's putting it out. It's the niggas that's writing it out their hearts. Yeah. What comes out of a man's mouth is in his heart. Who write these lyrics, nigga? When these niggas first get their first hit song, who wrote it? The record label didn't write it?
Nope.
So who's coming up with these words? Who's putting these phrases together? You, nigga, based on what's in your heart.
Yeah.
So, yeah, nigga, so I came to really attack the culture because it's imagery. It's propaganda that's using imagery, gangster imagery, nigga, to control a specific group of people in America. And we're targeted by it. So, yeah, that's why these niggas hate me, nigga. I attack their gods. He's still trying to play gangster. He claimed Bloods. Who put him down with the...
I also got to say this, man, like, I put something on Facebook the other day, too, man. Like, there's so many people that have that mentality that are so close to me, you know what I mean? And, I try to have conversations with them and try to tell them, man, like, that type of lifestyle of... I'm not even a fan of rings, jewelry. That's why you will hardly ever see me wear any type of jewelry outside of my Apple Watch. And the only reason why I mainly keep this on is because I'm trying to close them rings, and it's more for fitness than anything. I've never been big on jewelry, even when I was, getting a decent amount of money when I was younger, doing some things that I didn't have no business doing. Like, I've never been a huge fan of jewelry, earrings, any of those things. Like, I had it, you know what I'm saying? But I used to hand it out to my brothers, anybody that wanted to wear my chain or whatever. I want to say one of my brothers either lost my chain or he never gave it back to me, now that I think about it. But yeah, man, it was, I'm talking about diamonds. I had like 4 or 5 rows of it or whatever, man. And spent a decent amount of money on it. And I used to give it out, let everybody wear that doggone thing, man. Just... I don't know. That type of stuff I never gravitated toward. I had it once, and then after either, I lost it or I grew out of it, I just never went back to it.
Blood.
Oh, Steven Jackson?
Yeah, they claim Bloods. Him and Antoine, what's that, Marquise Daniels. All them niggas, man, look up their YouTube rap video. Them niggas throwing up blood. Yeah, man, them came Blood. So,
he's a former NBA player.
Man, when he get put down? Who quartered him in? When did he go do a drive-by and kill somebody? When did he put in some work? So he mad at me because I said fuck George Floyd. But I said fuck George Floyd the day after he died. I didn't wait years later. I said fuck him after he died. When I saw George Floyd laying down on the ground.
Uh-oh.
And he wasn't.
Here we go. Now, this right here is where, I'm not really a huge fan of Charleston White. Again, I understand why he does these things or whatever. It's for clickbait. He wants to go viral and stuff like that, but it's just certain lines that I would never cross. You know what I mean? I'm not talking about anybody that's no longer here. Like, that's just an automatic no. Like, again, man, stuff like that just turns my stomach. Like, yeah. But again, we know and we understand, people that do content, that shoot content, we know and we understand why you have individuals out there that speak like this. I'm not saying that it's okay, but I do know and I do understand the why behind it. I am well aware of it, even though I would never agree with something like this. All right, so y'all just bear with me here.
Squirming, nigga, get off me, putting up no effort to fight to get a white boy off him. I ain't clapping for no punk like him. That's a sissy to me. That's a nigga, you laying there. You let that man kill you. You didn't put up no fight. But if it was somebody black, because if you look at your criminal record, George kicked in a woman's door in the middle of the night, a pregnant woman's door, put a gun to her belly and say, where the money at? So he couldn't do that to the white man when the white man was on it? Make the white man kill you, nigga. Just don't lay there. So, nigga, I got a will to live, and I'm going to fight to live. So when I seen that, I ain't had no compassion for him.